Silas sitting in a garden. He is holding an old leather-bound planner. He looks directly at the lens, his voice a gravelly but warm whisper. Please, stay for a moment. I'm not selling anything. At 83, the only thing I have left to trade is the truth, and I'm giving it away for free today. My name is Silas. I am 83 years old. For 40 years of my life, I was a man of the portfolio. I was an investment strategist. I spent my days looking at charts, predicting the future, and moving numbers from one column to another. I was obsessed with growth. I was obsessed with the long game. But standing here, near the finish line of that long game, I've realized something that should have been obvious. We are all investors, but most of us are investing in the wrong currency. We spend our best years accumulating things that cannot love us back. I want to tell you about a realization that hit me like a physical blow when I turned 80. It's a story about a broken watch and the greatest return on investment I ever missed. Back in 1988, I was at the peak of my career. I was 45. I remember sitting in a boardroom on the 40th floor. I had just closed a deal that would secure my bonus for the next 3 years. I felt like a titan. My phone buzzed. It was my daughter Claire. She was 9. I didn't pick up. I was in the meeting. Later that evening, when I finally dragged myself through the front door at 10 p.m., Claire was asleep. On the kitchen island, there was a small box. Inside was a cheap plastic watch. The strap was broken. She had left a note. Daddy, your watch is always telling you to go away. Can you fix this one so it tells you to stay? I looked at that watch for 10 seconds, felt a twinge of guilt, and then I put it in a drawer. I told myself I'd fix it tomorrow. I told myself I was working these 80-hour weeks so that one day she'd have the best of everything. I was investing in her future, right? That's what we tell ourselves. But here is the cold mathematical truth I learned at 83. You cannot invest time. You can only spend it. Time is not like money. You can't put it in a high-yield savings account and hope to have more of it later. Every second you spend at the office is a second you have permanently deducted from the lives of the people who love you. I was a successful investor, but I was running a massive deficit in the only account that mattered. I want you to audit your life right now. Look at your portfolio. Most of you are building a life based on achievement currency. You want the title, the house, the recognition, the success. You think that once you hit a certain number, you'll finally be able to pivot to connection currency. But the market of life doesn't work that way. By the time I retired at 65, I had the millions. I had the prestige. But when I finally turned around to spend that time with my family, I found that the connection account had been closed due to inactivity. Claire was 26. She didn't need me to fix her watch anymore. She had learned to fix her own problems. She had learned to celebrate her wins without my applause and mourn her losses without my shoulder. I had given her a great future, but I had robbed her of a father in the great present. I realized that I was a billionaire in a currency that had just been devalued to zero. My plaques on the wall didn't talk to me. My bank balance didn't ask me how my day was. I've spent the last 23 years trying to buy my way back into my daughter's life. Not with money, she doesn't want that, but with effort. And it is the hardest work I have ever done. It is much harder to earn a child's trust at 30 than it is at 5. At 83, I have finally learned the secret of the ordinary. We think that a big life is made of big moments. We wait for the promotion, the wedding, the big exit. But looking back, those aren't the moments that make up the fabric of my soul. When I close my eyes at night, I don't see the boardroom. I don't see the luxury cars I used to drive. I see the way the sun hit the breakfast table on a random Tuesday in 1994. I hear the sound of the rain on the roof of the cabin we rented once for 3 days. I remember the smell of the old books in the library where I used to hide from my emails. Your life is not your career. Your career is just the fuel for your life. But most of you are so busy collecting fuel that you've forgotten to actually drive the car. You're idling in the driveway, filling the tank over and over again until the engine rots and the tires go flat. If you are 30, 40, or 50, hear me. Stop focusing on the exit strategy. Start focusing on the entry strategy. Enter your life. Be there when the dinner is being served, even if the work isn't done. The work will never be done. The work is a bottomless pit that will eat every hour you give it and ask for more. But your children's childhood, that is a finite resource. Your parents' health, that is a ticking clock. I have a friend, Elias. He was a gardener. He never made more than 30,000 a year. He lived in a tiny cottage. When we were 50, I felt sorry for him. I thought he had failed the game of life. I'd fly him out to my beach house and show him what success looked like. Elias would just smile, look at the ocean, and say, Silas, you have a beautiful view, but do you have the time to look at it? Elias died last year. At his funeral, the stories weren't about his net worth. They were about the time he spent teaching a neighbor's kid how to plant tomatoes. They were about the way he really listened when you spoke. He died a trillionaire in connection currency. I am 83 years old. My portfolio is finally shifting. I spend my days now doing the small things. I call Claire just to tell her I love her, not to give her advice, just to listen. I sit in my garden and I watch the birds. I realize that a cup of tea enjoyed in total presence is worth more than a week in a 5-star hotel spent on a laptop. I want you to do something today. I want you to look at your broken watch. What is the one thing you are postponing because you think you're building a future? Is it a conversation? Is it a hobby? Is it just being home by 6 p.m.? Go do it. Not next week. Not after the next project. Today. The most expensive thing you can own is a later that never comes. Don't be a man who wins the world but loses his seat at the dinner table. Thank you for listening to an old man who finally learned what to invest in. If this message made you rethink your portfolio, please subscribe and join us. Like this video to help it reach someone else who is currently trading their life for fuel. And tell me in the comments, what is one connection you've been neglecting that you're going to invest in today? I'll be here in my garden reading your stories. God bless, and remember, the market of life closes sooner than you think. Invest wisely.